Quaid Azam, Part 122. As we move along with it, though this resolution was overruled because of the strong interventions by Motilal Nehru and Gandhi, time was now not far away when Motilal Nehru would be compelled to take a different stand on this issue in order to retain support even for his closer fellows and his closer followers. This was the situation within Congress towards the second half of the 1920s, a backdrop necessary for us to grasp before examining Jinnah's position. While Jinnah's role in the Central Assembly as a leader of the Independent Party and the Swarajits had got separated from the very beginning, their respective political ideologies leading them in different directions. However, initially there had been a period of cooperation, even of cordiality, for the two parties were then agreed about making a rational demand calling for the provisional autonomy and some responsibility in the central government. On 18 February 1925, Motilal Nehru moved this demand. Even before he had moved it, the government made clear that it would not consider any concessions. All that was offered was a departmental inquiry to examine the justifiable complaints within the terms of the Act, and no more. Nevertheless, when it came to expressing their disappointment at such attitude of the British, the Swarajits and the independents fell apart. In Lord Reading's view, Jinnah was then making a bid for national leadership, and his activities over the next 3 months buttressed that impression. He first attempted to achieve this by a direct method. After the assembly session had ended, he returned to Bombay and held almost daily conferences with Motilal Nehru, M.R. Jayakat, and Purushottam Das, and Thakur Das, Vittalbhai Patel, and all with a view to producing a new inclusive constitutional party. Gandhi also participated in a number of these discussions, as did C.R. Das. Ultimately, however, Jinnah's efforts floundered on the rock of Congress' internal differences. Nehru and Das were under pressure from Gandhi, and though they did not always bow to his dictates, they were wary of his hold and to so openly ally with those who repudiated it. His creed, the Gandhi's creed, it was only after the promulgation of the Bengal Ordinance in October 1924 when Gandhi agreed to suspend the non-cooperation movement and go to the extent of offering the Swarajits charge of the Congress organization that Jinnah's ambition stood any chance of being fulfilled. But by then, so often happens, new obstacles had surfaced. Jinnah was simultaneously also attempting to revive the Muslim League. He persuaded the colleagues in the League Council session at Delhi in March 1924 to agree to a session at Lahore to bolster his chances of receiving a response from the Viceroy on the national demand. Unfortunately, his choice of Lahore was ill-judged because Punjab was the only province where Muslims were willingly and successfully working directly, of course, to their own advantage, for which reason the Punjabi Muslims were obviously the most active supporters of a policy of constitutional advance. Certainly not of reigning them, yet if somehow such demand did come from Muslim League, then that would be crushing rejoinder to all those who argued that communal differences were an obstacle to constitutional advancement. Moreover, Jinnah, as the man who had secured Muslim support for this purpose, would in the process add to his political stature.